Greg, you're a words person. You choose the right words. You are precious about words. Where are you on the following? Because I have not been able to correct something. When somebody who I love says the wrong word, I will correct them in order for them not to do it in the future. But the response has been on a couple of different occasions, don't be an asshole. You know what I meant, and if you know what I meant, you're being an asshole if you correct me.
Yeah.
But I'm not correcting them to make them feel smaller in that moment. I'm assuming that they don't want to keep doing that around people who don't love them, so they don't make that mistake.
Yes.
And so where are you on this? Can you lend a verdict on this?
Yeah, that's a tough one because I've been in that situation. Like if somebody says a non-word like irregardless, I want so much to correct them and just say regardless, not
hold on.
irregardless.
No, that's a word. That's 100%
It is a word.
Look at where you're at. Look at where you're standing. Look at where you drove to. Irregardless, absolutely a word.
Okay.
I don't think it is.
So I don't correct them. I don't say it's not irregardless, it's regardless. But if it's the misuse of a word that I just can't abide, then now I'll give you an example from yesterday's show. You referred to Jaws as a horror movie. I would argue Jaws is not a horror movie.
It's the number one horror movie of all time, according to people who classify horror movies.
But I disagree with them.
Okay, you can disagree, but
Right.
it is.
Okay. What's an example you would use where you correct someone over misuse of a word?
I mean, I do it all the time. Whenever people misuse words, you're right about irregardless. I think Kevin James called his terrible special irregardless purposely because it's not a word. And while I appreciate Trista's general comfort level around here, she came in today with flip-flops and socks, which I love.
And a dog.
They're slides.
She's still a little more careful than I'd like to be because she's been polite lately about not correcting me when I get words wrong.
It's true. Like, I am really a bitch. Truly. Like one of the meanest people you've ever met. Oh. And I've been mean since birth. And my mom is very similar to Dan. We had the encyclopedia out, and we were correct. We still correct each other. It's Iran. I mean, don't be a rube. Don't be a rube. It's Iran. You sound like a hayseed. It's not Iran.
It is Iran.
I do and have always called it Iran since I discovered it many, many years ago for the first time. But I don't pronounce it Iran.
Also,
but
don't run.
You didn't.
Woof.
I can't hide. We're in Shadow Show.
You did hide. You hid under the desk, but nobody can see you. Why didn't you correct me on Iran when I said Iran?
I feel I've been doing it too much, and I did it to start my first day here back in the Christmas time when I said it's Oregon and it's Louisville. And you liked it then. I'm like, how many times can I use this? Because it's not really a bug. It's a feature of my personality. And if I'm allowed to do it, I'm going to do it. We're going to rock out.
Welcome to my life, guys.
I think it's a good feature. I think we need more of it. I think you correcting me and me getting it wrong is an absolute winning position for everyone but me, which reminds me.
But you're in power.
Yeah, well, but, you know, this is a good time for men in power to be disabused of that power. This is a good time for you.
Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man to man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say Zagak. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
I would like a verdict here from Zaz and Greg Cody about how I'm supposed to feel, and I'm specifically asking you two because you're longtime veterans of the market, and you know what the navigations are around relationships when you cover people that you respect, but you also have to be critical of them over the years. This show has gotten me in trouble with the Miami Heat because it sounds, the way that it was aggregated, like I was the first to suggest in this market ever that Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley should be in some trouble. That is not something I've ever suggested, but given Mike's general rise in the media business, Don Lemon shouted him out the other day after going after Boomer Esiason.
Excuse me?
Don Lemon shouted out Mike Ryan because he's like, did you see what Mike Ryan of the Le Batard Show did to Boomer Esiason? And now I've got aggregated headlines in this market making it seem like I'm turning up the heat on Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra when that's not what happened yesterday. That was Mike Ryan turning up the heat on
The
it.
headline says that that's what happened.
How am I supposed to feel
Well,
about
it says
this?
Dan Le Batard Show. It doesn't
But read
say
the sub.
Dan-
Read
Dan
the
Le
sub
Batard.
headline. Read it out loud.
You can't see it.
After another underwhelming season, Dan Le Batard is looking to turn the heat
Yeah.
up on Miami Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra.
Pretty straightforward.
Unfair.
I like that mid is now being used in that form. Like, look how far we've come.
There you go. Welcome
That's
to the
not
big
coming
leagues.
far. I don't want, like, what am I supposed to do with that? Answer my question. What am I supposed to do with the fact that words are being attached to me because they were said on this show, even though I was pretty strong in saying no one in this market has ever said that about Spo and Riley, and no one in this market ever will say that about Spoelstra and Riley.
But you kind of made it sound like we should.
I think you stick to your guns. Say what you feel.
But I did say what I felt yesterday, and it got turned into that.
You're ready to turn the heat up. Face it.
Just shift the heat to Mike Ryan, who's not here to defend himself.
I was gonna say I saw the visual. It was 99% Mike. I didn't see
Yes.
you in it once. I saw Greg in it a couple times too.
Uh-oh.
What?
Yeah, but the headline is what's most important. Come on.
I mean, the subhead's not helping me. The subhead just says that Dan Le Batard, it says flatly, he is looking to turn the heat up on Miami Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra. Now, Spo is somebody who does not, he's very polite, very professional with the media, but doesn't have very much use for me. And just doesn't want to sit down and do a South Beach session, even though I think he would be interesting. Over the years, he doesn't dislike me, but he's not interested in helping me do my job. And he's not interested in opening
Not a
him-
shenanigans guy.
He's not, and you run strictly in shenanigans. So, like when you see a serious man who's about his business, who stands on business, he looks at you, not standing on business, standing on shenanigans. And what are you supposed to say? Look at this guy, standing on shenanigans, big fat Dan Le Batard over here. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna talk to him about? What am I
Like
gonna
a
talk
fat
about?
bastard.
I've told you guys this story before. This is something I've never learned the lessons on, okay? Some of you guys don't know this story. Original Marlins manager Renee Latchman, okay?
Renee.
They're 30-31 in their inaugural season through 61 games.
pretty good.
And he comes, and I've written something off of the game they lost that questioned all of his fifth inning decisions. And so when you say I stand on shenanigans, he's upset about something. He's like, are you going to cover us this way all year? And I'm like, come on, Latch, it's sports. It's fun. And he's like, no, this is my business and my life. And I'm like, you're in your underwear. Like you're right now in your underwear when you're yelling at me. All of this is silly. I do stand on shenanigans, and you'd understand why Mario Cristobal and Eric Spoelstra don't have any time for that. But that's shenanigans right there. Those headlines are not fair to me. It says flatly that I'm looking to turn up the heat on Eric Spoelstra, and I'm not looking to turn up the heat on Eric Spoelstra.
You should sue somebody.
it's kind of just like what you didn't say, I feel. You're kind of like, well, no one's really willing to have the conversation in this market. If it was any other coach and any other team with this type of record.
Trista, that was Mike who said that.
That was literally Mike.
But is it one of those deals where, if it's happening in front of you and you don't do anything to stop it, you're complicit?
Right.
Good Samaritan.
I love how
Me
Trista
too.
was here and thinks you said it.
You know about that Good Samaritan law?
I tried to stop it. What I said when Mike Ryan said, I've been trying to stop it on Mike Ryan for 3 years. What I said and what I will continue to say is the only other time I've seen a circumstance like that in this market where somebody in management felt like they had that kind of bulletproof stability was Don Shula. And he lost it when someone better, younger was available, Jimmy Johnson, and wanted the job. Unless Greg Popovich or Brad Stevens wants the job of running this franchise, I don't think you can have this conversation.
Yeah, but if you read between the lines yesterday, I think what you essentially said is that Spoelstra does not have Teflon, and if he does, the Teflon's cracking a little
I said
bit.
the opposite of that.
No,
What's
no,
happening?
No, you said there's no better options.
I'm talking about between
Because
the
he's
lines.
the best. It's not because there aren't.
There are no better options. It's in the quote.
Between
There are
the
no better
lines,
options.
Yes.
I love that two people here keep telling you that you said it.
I am very frustrated in general by what this show does to me as just a mental health hazard. And where's Roy?
Don't get me started on Roy.
When I talk about mental health hazards, Roy and Rose have tricked the person who broke that bottle over Jeremy's head in the open into a Key West barbecue trip where they're not here. They're not participating in 305 Day tomorrow. We have like all sorts of plans tomorrow, and Roy's not participating because he's fishing and barbecuing in the Keys.
Like, what's the point? Like, where's the content? What are we doing? Is it just like a weekend for Roy to get away and just hang out? Like, what's going on here?
They won it last year in their defense.
They won what?
The competition.
It's a
What
big
competition?
No, it's big. Roy's good at barbecue.
Well,
Gotta give him
if
credit.
we're being real, Dave Williamson's good at barbecue.
See, what y'all doing right now is y'all hating on the player instead of the damn game, and shame on all three of you.
Well, I'm hating on the fact that we have to pay for all that after Roy tried to trick us into him and Rose going to Finland.
Finland.
Yeah, he wanted to spend time with Barkov in the offseason, just going around to whatever parades Barkov was partaking in.
Good
I
idea.
retract. I'm hating now on the player.
Luckily, you cooler heads prevailed. It didn't happen.
How did this happen?
He'll be out the rest of the week. No big deal.
He needs a whole week to barbecue?
Yeah, he'll be back Monday.
Well, he's got to barbecue, then he's got to fish, then he's got to drink over in Key West. So, like, there's a lot of stuff to do.
Then Rose needs to lose a camera. There's a lot that needs to happen.
Yeah, we love Key West. I wish
Yeah.
I was there with him.
Yeah, we do.
I could be a sous chef. I'd be handing him like the spatula. Pay for me to do that next year. No, the reason all that happened on yesterday's show is that Mike Ryan, he doesn't mince words. Mike Ryan, I thought, warranted that headline. I don't think you did, but Mike Ryan did.
Let's talk about something here regarding the Heat because they beat up the Nets last night, and it really is funny, the concoction that the NBA has created with these play-in games where making the playoffs or the play-in game doesn't really mean anything when you consider the following. And help me with the teams that exist in that sport right now only to lose, because the Nets are one of them. So you've got the Kings, you've got the Wizards, you've got
the Jazz,
the Pelicans,
Phoenix.
The Pacers are hurt, but no, Phoenix is not. Phoenix does not count. They don't exist. No, the Heat.
They're losing not on purpose, Greg.
My point is that there are teams in the sport that are basically the Washington Generals. They exist because the Harlem Globetrotters need to make money and have to play somebody. And so everyone who's any good is going to make the play-in game because you've got do we name all of them? Because there are teams in that sport. The Bulls?
The Bulls now are tanking, yes.
But it's not just tanking, it's that they're running around in uniforms for no discernible purpose. Like it's so how many teams are there? Is it 10? Because if 20 are going to get to the play-in game, and then all of a sudden you're allowing every team that's trying into the playoffs, and if the Heat make it there, it's no accomplishment, even if they make it there and then beat Giannis and get all the way to the finals because they make it there by being not good enough. They're a benefit They're a benefactor from a playoff system that is remarkably generous. The Panthers would be in the playoffs if hockey did it this way. The Panthers would not be disappointing season, not Paul Maurice clearly on the bench, being a very nice man, but upset. We're going to play that sound for you in just a second. But if the Panthers, and plenty of teams make the playoffs in hockey too, but if basketball did it the way, or if hockey did it the way that basketball does it, you'd have the Panthers right now as two-time champions with a chance to do something in the playoffs.
In the NBA, there's 9 teams that are absolutely tanking. The Bucks are the one of the teams that are not in the play-in right now, that are probably still playing because Giannis is still around. But there's 9 teams that just have no chance whatsoever.
But do you realize how irrelevant you've made the regular season when that's what it is? When everyone's load managing to get to the playoffs and all 20 teams that are trying are going to have playoff equivalent games with a play-in.
But wasn't the play-in tournament created in part to prevent tanking? Because it gave 8 teams who otherwise might be tanking a reason to win.
I mean, maybe it's semantics. I wouldn't say that it was created to prevent tanking. I think it was created just so that more teams late in the season, more fan bases are involved, have a chance. So maybe you want to call that to prevent tanking. I think it's just more about having more fan bases involved.
I've been talking while trying to set Mike Ryan straight for several years about how hard it is to be relevant for 30 years the way that the Heat have been as the third winningest franchise in the sport over the last 3 decades, okay? It's only the Spurs and the Lakers that have won more games than the Miami Heat have over the last 3 decades. So, the Nets last night, go ahead. Use your entire history of knowing the Nets to find all the times that they've done real winning. Because the one time they got to the finals, they got swept. And you guys were telling me that Jimmy Butler against Denver's a failure, that against the Lakers in the bubble, it's a failure. The Nets got swept in the finals. It's the best they've ever done. Like, as a franchise throughout their entire history, the Sacramento Kings have gotten close, got cheated by some refs and Shaq and Kobe, but the Sacramento Kings haven't gotten to the finals. The Wizards haven't gotten to the finals. The Timberwolves haven't gotten to the finals.
Yeah.
You're kind of comparing the Heat to trash-ass franchises, and I don't feel like that's a great comparison.
The reason that I'm doing that is over 30 years of being rewarded for losing. At some point, I believe if I make a chimpanzee the general manager of one of those teams, I'm going to stumble into a deep run somewhere. Like, you have to be, you're right, I am doing it to trash franchises, but look how many I can do it to, where I'm saying they've never had, the Heat have made the finals twice in the last 6 years. I could look at franchises that haven't done that for 30 years. The same 30 years. And so that's why I'm doing it, to explain, look, it's hard. Even if I turn over all the players, all the rosters, all the leadership, I'm still not having that success. It's why I'm saying we've been spoiled. It's why I won't go after Spoelstra and these people. You're not going to get better than them.
You did go after him.
Kick, save, and a butte, Dano.
Let's play that Paul Maurice sound real quick because Zaslow and everyone here is hurting because the Panthers are basically, you understand, over the last 2 years, they've been the best in the sport, but they're still good enough. They are every bit as good as the Miami Heat are. Whatever it is you think the Heat are, the Panthers are that, and it's being considered a wildly disappointing season, even though it shouldn't be. It's only because of where they placed the standard the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the place where it shouldn't be considered wildly disappointing is because it's not like they're a 500 team coming off of 3 consecutive Stanley Cup appearances. They're a 500 team that has just been crushed by injuries all season long, including their best player not seeing a single second of ice time this year. And last night, I think, 3 nights ago was the worst loss of the season, the game at the Islanders, and last night was, and the season ended that night, but last night I think is a sign of what's to come.
It ended last night for me.
Well, I think last night's a sign of what's to come the rest of the season. Like, I think it's going to get ugly now.
Okay, but you guys have been saying for several weeks now that the Panthers season is over. What did you make? Paul Maurice is a very nice man, and I want to get into what it is that Raheem Mostert said to Colin Cowherd about Mike McDaniels. But I don't. Paul Maurice seems to walk a really good rope between being somebody who's really kind and really nice, but also not too much of a player's coach.
Yeah, so last night, this is like late in the first period, and this is from TNT Sports, and you got Panger. Darren Pang's doing the in-game interview with Paul Maurice. And it's funny because the Panthers lost 5-1 last night. Bobrovsky was actually really good. Two of them were empty net goals. Bob was really good. And so here is Paul Maurice on his team's effort. And apparently he lets everybody know that Bobrovsky's the only one who has showed up.
I don't like that turnover, Panger, at all. Like, you can't play that game. Nobody plays that game and wins, so I don't like it.
Your goaltender's bailing you out. That's the good news.
Bobo's been fantastic, so we just got to get the rest of them. Maybe I'll get him up the ice in the middle, see if he can toe drag. He's the only guy with hands tonight.
He's got pretty good hands.
Bob, get up the ice.
Thanks, Coach.
I love that guy.
He's staring at the camera on the way out too. He stares
Like-
across the ice at the camera.
He's such a nice man, Paul Maurice, but he's so angry.
Was he mad there or was he doing bit?
No, he's angry. He's
He-
angry and he's
he
trying
went from-
not to be a dick.
He went from angry to let me do a little stand-up set
Yeah.
here for you.
He plays both sides. I think Paul Maurice can be a hard ass. I agree with what you say. I don't think he's considered to be a player's coach.
Oh, but he's a nice man.
He's
And
a
so
very
what-
nice man.
So, but when I think of nice man, okay, let's do this real quick, okay? Because here are the comments from Raheem Mostert, and for Dolphin fans who want to partake in confirmation bias, he's saying all of the things that you would want said about Mike McDaniels now that it has failed and he is gone, and I legitimately fear what he's going to do next as a coordinator because he's clearly an inventive offensive mind. Like, I have rarely seen a coach in this market dismissed as a failure when he has shown me something that is a valuable skill set that is empirical. That man can coach offense. That is not up for dispute. So Mostert says to Colin Cowherd, quote, he's a great coach. If guys are talking, he'll listen and give them some advice. But head coach-wise, when you have a coach that is so player-friendly, it doesn't really mix all that well. Look at the coaches in history, not just in the NFL, of all of these different sports franchises. They have coaches that implement toughness, resilience, and that's something that he kind of missed the mark on in being a head coach. He called him nonchalant, laid back, a player's coach, and he said that players respond better to a head coach whose attitude is, we're getting the job done, and it's my way or the highway. I hate hearing a player say this because I'm constantly objecting to how it is that adult human beings are infantilized, that the guys with muscles need a brain to teach them toughness. Like, it bothers me.
Yeah.
And I understand why it is that it happens. I don't think of Pete Carroll as one example, as somebody who is so tough that he's not a player's coach. I think all of us here would want to work for a player's coach, and this Mostert is making it sound like he can't be great unless someone else makes him tough.
I'm sorry, I have to correct you. It's Mike McDaniel, not
Yeah.
Mike McDaniels.
Yeah.
It's
Is it
Josh McDaniels.
Right.
There you
That's
go.
a Cuban thing, though, Trista. Like, we put S's at the end of things that don't need to be there. It's like the Heats. Like, sometimes we say things like that where just like, it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's because he's cute.
That's a play on for me, Dan.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that, but I have been adding S's. This is an age thing. This is not a Spanish thing. Maybe I appreciate
It is a Spanish thing, though,
I
because my mom does it
appreciate,
too.
yeah, but it's an old person Spanish thing. If I call them, look, man, retire me on the spot if I start calling them the Miami Heats.
I'll let it play on for that.
Also, to kind of tie it back, Greg, you said that Paul Maurice is a hard-ass coach. Can you give me some examples of some soft-ass coaches?
Well, the argument right now is that Mike McDaniel was a soft-ass coach, right? I mean, that's what they're saying, but they're retrofit. Raheem Mostert is retrofitting that to McDaniel fizzling in the last couple of seasons. Raheem Mostert wasn't saying anything bad about Mike
20
McDaniel
touchdowns.
when he was scoring 20 touchdowns and when they were putting up 70 points on Denver and when Tua was made the Pro Bowl and everything looked good for a minute. But now that they've changed coaches, you look back and you say, all right, here's what happened. He was too soft.
But where are you guys on this, right? Because the problem with this to me is Mostert is now giving voice to something that most fans already thought about McDaniel, and furthermore, it's what most fans want their coach to be. They want their coach to be, especially in football, drill sergeant guy, military guy, and I don't think that works with today's 20-year-old.
Isn't that what got Brian Flores fired?
They went the opposite when someone was tough. I think that Brian Flores, though, was tough on everybody. He was also tough up. Like, tough down is one thing. If you're being tough up when the owner doesn't want you to be, I assure you, the owner doesn't want a hard ass with him.
That's why I'm scared to correct you.
The thing is, when you look at sports, when you look at politics, when you look at whatever it is, like, there's one side that gets in power, and then it's like, man, this doesn't work this way. Let's go the complete opposite way, right? Brian Flores was such a hard ass. We got to go to the complete opposite end of the spectrum and get a cool, laid-back guy from California. Now that doesn't work. Now you got to get somebody kind of in the middle. So it's like
Halfley.
Look at the same thing
He's
with
literally half.
literally. But like Denver had Mike Malone, hard ass coach, got him to a championship, won a championship. Then after that, fizzled out.
They did get literally, because he's also small. so they literally got the halfway point between McDaniel and Flores. They got someone who is half of both of them. I don't know. I know McDonald is boring, okay? And what is Sirianni? Like, help me, okay? Andy Reid doesn't strike me as somebody who's real. I mean, he gets into his fights with Travis Kelce, but I think that Andy Reid strikes me as friendly. I may just be doing that
You
on
don't
his
think hard-ass
body
Andy
type.
Reid.
No,
You
you
don't
think hard-ass Dan Campbell. You think hard-ass Dan
But even
Campbell.
him, he's a
The
player's coach.
Cried.
Yeah, but he's a kneecap biter.
He is, that's
what,
true.
That's what you want publicly. That's why Jeff Hafley, in the wake of Mike McDaniel, that's why Jeff Hafley comes in and uses words like, we want to be physical. We want other teams to be afraid of us and not want to play us. That's what you have to say. That's coach speak, particularly when you're a coach replacing a coach who was considered
But do
soft.
you believe, like, the part that I'm most objecting to is that the people who have gotten to the top of that sport, okay, fighting other men for money with violence, the idea that the guy on the sideline is going to make them tougher. Like, it bothers me that the idea that the guy who looks like Pete Carroll or Andy Reid is going to make Patrick Mahomes tougher.
But then why do we have coaches? Why do we have people to push us? Like, why do
Because
we
somebody
have that?
has to control the minutes. Somebody has to manage the egos and the personalities. You can have discipline while being an ally. Look, you've heard me say this before, okay? I believe that these coaches are in charge, but should act for the very best players as administrative assistants. How can I help you be better? You're the one who's got the football. What can I do to make you be better? And I'll acknowledge that some guys need tough love, discipline, and maturity. But to say a whole locker room does, like to say that it insults the locker room to say that all of those grown men who are tough and violent for a living aren't tough enough because the coach isn't making them tougher.
I think athletes in general still want to be fired up and inspired. That's why whether it's from a player or a coach, that's why Ray Lewis's pregame speeches are legendary. Because athletes want that.
But Foxworth said he got tired of those after the first couple, that they all started to sound the same.
Right.
Like, not everyone needs that.
I mean, we used to hear the stories from Tim Hardaway, right, about Pat Riley. It's like, yeah, he's a great motivator. That's a shame for me.
I think the perfect storm of the coach that was needed, that wasn't necessarily needed, but needed a lot, was Mike Vrabel last year. Him being a player from that organization, a player's coach, and a little bit hard-assed it, worked wonders for the Patriots.
The McDaniel stuff from Raheem Mostert, though, I think is a little bit tired because, first couple years of McDaniel, winning 11 games, winning 10 games, postseason appearances, I don't know, seemed like the players were responding pretty well. And guess when the players didn't respond pretty well? When we realized that Mike McDaniel may not be as great a coach as the other guys, and, the offense was kind of figured out, and he wasn't able to, make the right adjustments. Plus, with Tyreek Hill getting hurt.
Okay, no. Wait a minute. Wait. Yeah, when their quarterback's brain was scrambled and their wide receiver no longer was fast, toughness is a problem now.
Yep.
Like, I mean, what are we doing?
No, you're right. That's why I think it's kind of lame what Raheem Mostert is saying here.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of revisionist history.
But the overarching issue here with coaches is that the Dolphins are in the exact polar position from the Heat. The Dolphins have been futile for 20 years. They've done no winning in 20 years, and therefore they cycle through these coaches every 4 or 5 years to try the next guy. With the Heat, it's just the opposite, which is why Spoelstra and Riley have built up such goodwill with everybody, with fans, with the media, because they have a track record. And when you look at the Heat and say, oh, they haven't won anything in the last 4 years because they've only reached a final and they've only reached play-in tournaments, that's a pretty high standard.
This is why it's also so shocking that Dan is calling for a serious conversation about Spo.
Yeah, it really is.
We got a crack staff back here working on a hard to soft coach meter. So we're gonna put all the NFL coaches in a meter, hard, soft,
Or half.
I don't know what we're calling it.
We're going half in the middle. We're going half.
Halfly. We're going to call in the middle halfly. We're going to. One of the things that
Is there an E at the end of that, halfly?
I'm going to put an S at the end of it.
Halflies.
Let's find all the halflies that there are in the NFL that straddle the line right in the middle, because I don't want to actually be absolutist about this, but I do want to have the conversation with you guys, okay, about Ron McGill's going to be on with us later, and their dogs, domestic dogs, do appreciate discipline. Horses appreciate some forms of discipline. These are human beings, though, and that's why I'm objecting to the idea that you coach a locker room and everyone in it with my way or the highway, because I don't think that that's what Vrabel is. I think Vrabel I don't think that's what Dan Campbell is. I think the optics of that is how they present, because fans and media love when the team spokesman face and voice gives off, I'm in charge. But I do believe that if you ask Dan Campbell, he would tell you that all the time he's working to help his players, and that they love and respect him because they know that he's in charge, but also they know that he cares about them. Like, to me, that's what, when I talk about players coach, I want more of them, because if the coach cares about the employee, I would think that would get the maximum effort from the majority of employees. You're going to have a few talented stragglers who are immature and need to follow the rules. And so you put in the blanket rules of you're going to be on time and you're going to be punished when you're not on time. And that was a problem with McDaniel. I understand that. I don't think that the Dolphins weren't successful in Kansas City during a playoff game because their players were late to meetings. I don't think that that's what was happening. And I think you guys skip past some stuff on what happened to Tua, where all of a sudden their quarterback goes from statistically being Patrick Mahomes to somebody who's doing nothing but throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. So it seems like, once again, journalist Zaslow is not getting the credit he deserves nationally, because he reported weeks ago, Tua's gone. And now everyone's caught up. Zaslow is not wrong. He's just early, but he's not getting the credit. Zaslow's mad about this.
Well, I'm mad about it because this happens all the time as Greg sits there and sits back and laughs and smiles, okay? You can smile all you want. The fact of the matter is, at least a couple of weeks ago, I don't keep track of the actual date, okay? Because it's not really about, when. It's about just getting things right. But sometimes when you get things right, as a journalist like myself, as a reporter, I'd like to give me a little hat tip. That's what the HT is on Twitter. You do the H and then you do the slash and a T. That's hat tip.
Oh, that's what that means?
That's when you give somebody credit.
Wow.
All right. That little hat tip.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
thanks for the tip right there. I haven't seen one person give Zaslow, I'm at Zaslow Show on Twitter. I'm a great follow. I haven't seen anyone do a hat tip to Zaslow for having the Tua news first. Now, did I designate a pre or post June 1 cut? I don't get involved in all that cockamamie nonsense, all right?
Yeah,
but I
of course
told
not.
you a couple weeks ago, the
Cockamamie.
Dolphins are going to release Tua Tagovailoa. They're going to eat the cap hit. And now everyone and their mother has been saying the same thing for the last couple days. How about a hat tip?
All right, so let's get this straight.
What?
my boy straight.
When the Dolphins
Hey, yo.
benched Tua with 3 games left in the regular season, you read the tea leaves. You said this is the end of his Dolphins career.
Correct.
Or was it after that or before that?
No, when they bench, it's over. Yeah.
Okay, so basically you reported what everyone was thinking.
No,
at
that was an
time.
opinion when I did that. I don't know immediately once they bench him that week that they're going to wind up cutting him. Maybe that was my opinion at the time, but a couple of weeks ago, I straight up said right here, I said, put it on the crawl.
Yep.
I'm reporting it. The Dolphins are going, I'm tired of waiting. the Dolphins are going to cut Tua Tagovailoa. They're going to eat the money. That's a report, Greg.
Cody, why are you smiling in Zaslow's face? He hasn't gotten one of these wrong. He's broken all of these stories, and he's getting no credit for the breakdown.
And I'm not
of these
really sure what
stories.
to think about you giving me bunny ears, when I'm talking about
He
my
gave you
report.
quote marks. It wasn't bunny ears.
Okay.
He gave you
Oh,
quote
Big
marks.
difference.
You
Big
reported.
difference.
He gave you air quotes.
Okay, and your report was
Taken
based,
as disrespect.
Your report was based on what source? Or was it just a feeling of yours?
I've already told you this before. I can't believe we're rehashing this.
He doesn't reveal his sources.
I would go to prison before releasing my
Right.
source.
I doubt that.
Okay.
But okay, your point is well.
Oh, wait a minute.
You'd go to prison.
Just because you wouldn't protect a source, don't push that on me. I would go to hell and back to defend, to protect any of my sources. So all my sources
Okay.
out there, I will always protect.
All
you.
I'm saying, and I'm saying, I happen to be saying this about you, but I could be saying it to a number of journalists. When you're reporting, and I'm using air quotes, when you're reporting that a Tua Tagovailoa with a concussion history, coming off his worst season, benched toward the end of the season, when you're reporting that they're going to divest themselves of Tua, not a big news break on that.
Wow.
It's sort of like reporting that the Florida Panthers are not going to make the playoffs when they're 8 points back.
No,
It's
that's a
just-
prediction. All right, that's
I
not
can't
a
believe
fact.
Zaz has to explain this to you, the journalist.
Right.
And if I'm not exactly going out on a limb, with that they're going to release Tua, why did it take all this time until just a couple days ago for Pelissero and Schefter and Rappaport to finally come out with the news that everybody seemingly knows, and that's that Tua is going to be released?
I heard Dave Hyde
had
say it this morning.
weeks ago.
Okay. I think it's been pretty obvious for weeks.
You say that, but he had it. He did have it first.
I put my name on
Greg.
it.
He put his name on it. And he said, "Put it on the scroll. I'm reporting it before all the insiders." And now people are reading tea leaves. Let's show people what social media is mad about these days, because Tua's birthday was a couple of days ago, and we didn't celebrate it properly around here. And let me see if I can find the happy birthday.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
We've already done more than the Dolphins.
A lot of people noticed that the Dolphins did not wish Tua happy birthday, but they did wish Willie Gay Jr. happy birthday.
A couple weeks ago.
And what do you make of that, Greg? Because a lot of people are using that as, to confirm the Zazzle report from weeks ago. They are using the circumstantial evidence to say, well, that's clearly a sign. Once you're not wishing him happy birthday, clearly he's gone.
Yeah, how many more signs do we need before we all agree that they're going to part ways?
How many
with
more
Tua?
signs do you all need?
But
I didn't need any more.
If you're them, though, don't you just wish him a happy birthday to avoid all this dialogue?
It very well could. I don't know who runs their social media. It could have very well have just been an oversight. I doubt it. I also think it's ridiculous that, what are we in grade school, where the elementary school teacher wishes happy birthday on the chalkboard to whoever's birthday.
What are we in grade school, where the player needs to be taught how to be tough, how to be an adult? Yeah, we're in grade school. Yes,
Chalkboard.
Okay. So we're congratulating happy birthday to all our players.
Except for the quarterback,
It's ridiculous.
Who they're cutting.
Absurd. Well, only because they can't trade him.
So he's that bad that they can't even give him a happy birthday.
Well, I mean, look at what the Arizona's doing with Kyler Murray. It's tough to trade somebody when the rest of the league knows that he'll be a free agent in a couple of weeks.
Hey, Greg, could you just keep your mouth closer to the mic?
Thank you,
I
Trista.
feel like you're kind of just bleeding out.
When he starts to get excited about a point, he
What are
brings
you
it
talking
back.
about? What are you talking about?
So Zaslow mentioned the HT and taught all the youngsters out there that is they know that. All the old people out there that's a hat tip.
I thought it was hashtag.
A hat tip, though, is from another time. What are we thinking? 1920s,
I'll look it up.
1930s, 1940s. The tip of the hat as a salute. But did you guys see what happened with Timberwolves podcaster Dane Moore, where when we talk about giving credit to people, right? ESPN on occasion doesn't do a great job of giving credit to others, and Dane Moore went into the Timberwolves locker room and got some sound from Anthony Edwards about not liking to play basketball with all of the double teams, and ESPN asked him, hey, can we use that sound? And he's like, I'm going to tell you what I tell you every time you get in my DMs. No, you shouldn't have fired all those reporters if you wanted the sound from the locker room. You cannot have the sound. And so he just didn't allow them to have the sound. And he made the principled stand on behalf of other journalists saying, don't fire your reporters if you want the exclusive sound. Oh, look at this. They're getting the McAfee applause back there. And Tony is going Hulk Hogan.
Easy stance for that
Cup in
guy.
the year.
Yeah, easy stance for
but
that
no
guy.
one else is doing it.
Agreed, but easy stance.
But no one else is doing that.
It's
And
not easy when ESPN hits you. Be like, hey, bro, we like that one. Can we use it? And you got the gumption to tell them, hey, bro,
You tell
buzz
them.
off. You fired my homegirl 2 days ago. I like that,
It's
bro.
not a person asking you, it's the 4 letters.
Sometimes it's easy to be the right guy, but hey, he did it.
Well, was ESPN going to give him credit?
they sometimes do and sometimes don't. Many people have an issue with that. But in this particular case, somebody is taking a stand.
I have expertise on this matter. They've hit me a couple times to use some of the stuff that we've.
And did you do it?
Yeah, I've sent it to them, and sometimes they give us credit, and sometimes they just use the content. So hey, I feel my bro.
Juju not making the stand that Dane Moore has taken. Juju just said you can more the merrier. Not on behalf of fired hims and hers. Juju has not made any.
Whoa. This was 2022, brother.
I had something that ESPN hit me up about too that they asked me if they could post, and I said, yeah, that's fine. You could post it. It went viral, whatever. It was actually the Houston Texans heading over to Baltimore in the playoff game, C.J. Stroud versus Lamar Jackson. I had a picture of somebody with a Houston jersey with the 4-4, number 4-4, with still tipping on the back. They loved that. That went crazy. And they were like, can we use this? And I was like, yes. And they didn't tag me. No HT.
You know anything about that still tipping on fofos?
The press box has changed.
But Mike said it best. The press box has changed. I mean, seriously, get over yourself. We're going to talk during the post game. Tim Reynolds, enough. I mean, enough.
I mean,
seriously.
you just got to know when
You're
the
not
Dan
allowed to cheer in the press box. Did you know that?
Well, I did.
They were cheering for Will Manso. I think that's allowed.
And Goldie.
If the Dan Le Batard Show comes to a hockey press box, hilarity is going to ensue. They're going to yell at Will Manso for 7 minutes, and you're probably going to have to go to a stairwell to write, man.
If it was 7 minutes, I'd get it. It was
is what
7
it is.
seconds.
Exactly. I mean, David, everyone else was saying hi. They were enjoying the show. They were laughing at us. But one guy is still clutching on to his newspaper deadline.
I'm a little
and it's
disappointed.
Tim Reynolds.
And is he your demographics, too?
I don't know.
I happen to like Tim a lot, and I imagine this was going to be like E.J. Raddick or something, but that's just a bad look for Tim Reynolds.
Listen, I went up to him afterwards.
This was the best part. Stugotz is like, I've known Tim for years. I'm going to go fix this. He walked to Tim and walked right back very quickly.
Yep.
It was a very quick interaction.
Well, he was writing. Okay?
He's on deadline. It's
enough of the deadline.
It's a
We're on deadline. I feel like playoff hockey. I got to get home. I mean,
yeah, we're on deadline too. We got to get that post game out.
It is a working press box. Tim Reynolds is a journalist who's trying to write, and Stugotz is back there. Hey, Will Manso!
That's Chris and Goldie. Don't leave out Goldie.
We're on deadline too. They're going to kick us out of that press box a lot sooner than they'll kick out Tim Reynolds, who's just typing away. That's just
Those writers had their game stories done before the end of the
Precisely.
Yeah, a good writer, right?
Oh,
what happened there? I apologize to him. I've known Tim for decades. I mean, Cody was done. He was out of there. I mean, you know.
What was that interaction like, Stugotz? Take us behind the scenes. You walk up to him, you say what, he says what?
I said, Tim, I apologize. That's on me. I should know better. Not Chris, okay? I should know better. I've been in press boxes before. I know you have a deadline. I apologize. And he said, that's fine. Just, try to keep it down.
That is way too
Yes.
long.
That was
Way
much
too
longer
long.
than the actual
He's on
conversation.
deadline.
I always extend it a little bit. I mean, you guys
Can we
know that.
call Tim Reynolds and just ask him about what the
Don't,
interaction was
no,
like?
no.
Greg Cody's back in my day. Seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably notice seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king. This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
You should get more Trista and Juju in your life. They have great chemistry. The name of the show is Alley Oop. You can find it on YouTube at DLS Hoops. We also have a fellow enjoyer of basketball here. I think it's the ultimate enjoyer of basketball, although Trista and Juju might have some objections. Not you, Tony. Kenny Beecham is the co-founder of Enjoy Basketball, part of the NBA on NBC coverage. He's the host of Numbers on the Board and Small Ball with Kenny Beecham. It airs weekdays on NBC Sports Now and Peacock, as do we. Welcome, Kenny, your maiden voyage on the show. Are you more of an enjoyer of basketball than Juju and Trista? Because I'm being told you're the ultimate enjoyer of basketball.
I think there's room for a lot of people on this boat. I don't know if I'm the captain, but, man, anytime somebody tells me they're an enjoyer, I feel great because I feel like there's not many of us left. So thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I think we need to adjudicate something, and I think you, as the ultimate enjoyer of basketball, know the history of this. Dan thinks it's very uncommon to call each other bitches and pussies in sports. I think it's quite normal. I call my own mom a hoe, so if we were playing hoops, listen, anything can go down. Kenny, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the game is about, right? You know, when you're between,
he's right. I like this guy.
Lines,
Park their cars
between the lines. You can do and say what you want, but once that buzzer's over and everything's out, you go back to friendship. So I'm team say what you want on the court for sure.
Trista misrepresents me. What I said is that you cannot say after the game that you respect somebody when that is disrespectful.
Semantics.
Get between the lines, Le Batard.
Has never been an athlete, Kenny.
I
You
could
can
tell.
obviously tell that. He says I ran, and that's the closest that he's actually doing to running. Are there too many Jalen's in the NBA?
I would think that there's actually not enough. I think the 2028 draft class, the entire lottery should be Jalen's. I think it's the only way we can really counteract and have the Team USA be better than Team World.
Moving on to more disagreeable conversations. Do you believe in this version of the Cleveland Cavaliers with James Harden at the helm?
I see what you're rocking right now, so I'll give you your love. Yeah, I do. I mean, you saw last night how good defensively they can be without two starters. I'm full in, even though James has struggled in many postseason series, as we know. I'm completely in, and I think it might just be like the fact that it's new. You know, the Knicks have been around for a few years. The Pistons can't really score. So give me the new backcourt, and I'm all in on the Cavs.
I've got another thing for you to adjudicate. I'm sorry. I've been besmirching Cade, and I'm going to continue to besmirch Cade. I don't think he's even close to MVP in the universe in the conversation. If he wins the award, I think he needs to give it back, Kenny, because he's not in the same world or stratosphere as Jokic and SGA. What do you think about Cade and the Pistons here? Do you believe in them?
I think that Cade is a phenomenal player, but I would agree that if the 65-game rule prevents us from having Shea or Jokic as MVP, then that shows you that there is a true problem. Last night is a great example of the lows of the lows with Cade Cunningham. I think it was like one made field goal in the second half. And when teams decide to really scheme against the non-shooters on the roster, it can get real ugly. You saw it last year in the playoffs as well versus the Knicks. So I think Cade is a phenomenal player. But he is right now, I think, overtaxed as the only creator on that team. And the Pistons are a team I have just like a little bit of love for when it comes to the postseason, but I don't think they're truly the team that's going to win the championship this year.
Yeah, I agree. Their inability to make any moves at the deadline to me was kind of bad, because replacing Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. with Duncan Robinson, who don't even make 2 dribbles, you lose out on that. So I agree with you about them Pistons. Let's get to the real deal topic of the year, Luke Kornet, my brother. Now, overwhelmingly online, people are saying that once you open that door, it's a slippery slope, because I agree his sentiment is well placed. But we're going to start caring about women, huh? So we got to look at a lot of stuff in this room. What do you feel about the Luke Kornet situation, bro?
Listen, I think that everybody should be entitled to feel how they feel. I am a personal, I like to get out. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. So I feel what he is saying, but I don't know. I feel like that's a bag of worms, man. I have no idea. This is one of those topics that I've been asked a lot about. I'm like, man, yeah, I ain't read the article. I ain't read the blog post. I just act oblivious to the whole situation. So I'm going to let Luke get his points off. I think there are some valid points in there, but ultimately I think it is a very small problem that the NBA is dealing with.
Let me might to the audience who might not know. It's not just Luke Kornet. Now Al Horford is saying that as well, objecting to an Atlanta Hawks promotion that is Magic City related, and the idea of them celebrating both strip clubs and lemon pepper wings as a professional franchise. So it's a bag of worms?
Yeah, I mean, I originally saw it and thought about the wings before I thought about anything else. So when I saw the Magic City stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I've had those wings before. But I think it's one of those issues that is an issue, but ultimately not the biggest issue that we should be worried about. It's one night, the way I think about it.
When you look at Magic City and go to their website, it says premier destination for wings. That's what it says. Doesn't say anything about a strip club in there.
Exactly.
As it should, yeah.
As a person from Atlanta, I feel like Magic City is Disney World. You dig? I feel like it should be mentioned in the same breath with Walt. You dig? Greg, what you got, bro?
Kenny, Miami Heat stuck in play in purgatory down here. Do you agree with Le Batard's contention that Eric Spoelstra should finally be feeling a little bit of heat? A little bit of heat.
Wow.
Don't agree with
that. No, I don't. I don't. I think that sometimes you see a team fire a great head coach with thinking that the grass is going to be greener, and then they spend 10 years trying to find a coach as good as the guy that just fired. I think they've been in purgatory. I'm a Bulls fan, so I've been in purgatory with you over there. I think it starts at the head of the snake, right? Every single year, they're close to signing somebody. They're close to trading for this next superstar, and it never really happens. And every single time this year, it's like, oh, we're better than our record shows. And I think that those 2 finals appearances in the last couple of years became fool's gold, where they feel like they can be an 8th seed and make it to the finals every single season. I think you start at the head of the snake before you get rid of one of the premier coaches in basketball.
Pivoting to a team that I actually think is fun to watch, unlike the Heats. The Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan finally sells the team, Kenny. And now we get Knipples. Knipple? Leading the charge. Are they the most fun team in basketball? What do you think about the future of them?
Easily the best 500 team to ever exist this late in the season, right? Think about 2 months worth of them being a top 3 team in that rating. Super fun style of basketball. I kind of saw a little bit of it last year with Charles Lee, but I was too afraid to double down. Last year I had them as a playing team. Like, yeah, this is going to be the year. And then they sucked. And I was like, I would never fall for it again. I kind of wish I continued to hold my stock. But they're a fun team to watch, man. I truly think that they're the most fun team in the NBA right now.
They definitely have the most fun announcer. If you haven't heard him, I don't know the brother name, but that
Eric
brother,
Collins.
He need to be hosting the Oscars. I don't know. We need to tap into his potential. Right. Brother, can the Lakers do any damn thing at all in the postseason this year?
No, I don't think so. I always looked at this year as a gap year for them. They're trying to figure out, they got almost $100 million in cap space this offseason. I know a lot of that should go to Austin Reeves, but after that, it's about building around Luka. You have to remember that Luka kind of fell into their lap, and they had a team built for AD and LeBron. It wasn't a well-built team, but it was built for those guys. And you add in a guy like Luka, who changed the dynamic of the entire franchise. This is a team that's good enough to maybe win a playoff series, but ultimately they're not going to do the things that Lakers fans want them to do, which is win a championship. They're like maybe a year or 2 away from being a true contender.
I am curious, as you allow a lot of complacency for the Heat, and allow them to continue to be a trash-ass play-in team. You are a fan of a team that is in perpetual mediocrity with a head coach that I feel like is considered a legend. Where are we at with the Bulls right now, Kenny?
Yeah, I think Billy is a legend in college basketball. I think his NBA tenure has had a couple good seasons, but mostly bad seasons. You think about
that was a
his
polite.
OKC
That was
year.
a polite correction. That was a polite correction.
I mean, hey, I mean, multiple national championships, and you get to the league, it's like, okay, we got a couple playoff series appearances, not a ton of playoff series wins. But yeah, we've been in purgatory too. The best thing that happened at this deadline is that we sold on all of the assets. I mean, we sold low, but we sold on all the assets. And just until like 2 days ago, we were on an 11-game losing streak. So we picked a direction, and direction is, instead of being mediocre, just being bad, which could reap some awards in a year or two. And that's what I got to convince myself to continue to watch this team every single night.
Fire him.
Kenny, do you have an AJ
Oh, yeah.
Hawk situation going on behind you? Is that a real background? Can you go
This
and get
is
something
100% real.
Okay, give me the VHS is up top. Okay, give me the VHS is up top. What you got up there?
We got Sports of 97. We got some.
That's minty though.
We
That's
got
crispy.
some-
Did you have those or you bought those?
He's
I have
accusing
a
you of
friend-
optics. He's accusing you of having that background purposely chosen, but not really being about it. That's an accusation.
Well, that's
you're
not an
making.
accusation. I'm just making sure that
What-
it's, you know what it is.
What I will say is that I am a collector of vintage sports things. Most of the stuff came from a friend of mine that lives in Arizona, who his entire brand is doing vintage sports stuff. So he provided me with like 90% of the stuff. So I guess you got me there, but I did pick it. I mean,
So you
he
needed
had a
4
full
Space
website.
Jams.
You know about Bout It,
Well,
Bout It, Kenny?
The idea is to have the entire row be Space Jam, but I have to pick them up as I find them in the wild. It's a whole scavenger hunt type of situation.
Speaking of Space Jam, lastly from me, LeBron James next year. Everybody seem to think he going to Cleveland as some kind of return home. I see the gimmick in my boy. I know my boy. Excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me.
That's a
$5
fine- that's a
emotional
fine
topic.
bucket. Fine bucket. $5 on the fine bucket. Let's make sure that Juju gives that $5 whether he has cash or not. You're not allowed to
That's
do that.
$5
Make
on.
sure you pay your fine.
You got to pay your fine. The fine bucket is presented by Moneyline. Download the Moneyline app or visit moneyline.com to learn more. Moneyline, make money easy.
Well, yeah, I think my boy has conquered Miami. He has conquered L.A. And now I think he wants to conquer the Big Apple. What do you say about LeBron going to the Knicks for his farewell tour?
Do you think the Knicks will want that?
Yes. Like,
Oh man, I mean, I think yeah, you're probably right. They probably will.
What a
want that,
crazy
especially
thing
if
to
they don't
ask.
win this
What a
year.
crazy thing
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
asked.
Yeah, that's me. I don't know, man. Is LeBron gonna be willing to take a minimum? Because that's the only way he goes to Cleveland or he goes to New York. Those are second apron teams. So that's why I feel like LA is still a spot. I mentioned almost $100 million. 40 of those could go to Bron pretty easily, and nobody's gonna complain.
touche.
The Knicks have won 40-plus games 4 straight seasons. That's the first time that's happened in 3 decades. They have fallen in love with that team, but no team with some player the size of Jalen Brunson ever gets to win the championship. Maybe is that different now with threes?
No, I don't think so. I think
was
we're
that?
still in that era. Yeah.
What was that?
I had to think about it for a second because I do love Jalen Brunson, but when you're 6'1" and can't defend, it's just tough to win 4 playoff series.
Kenny, as the ultimate enjoyer of basketball, what is something you see out there that people are not enjoying enough about the NBA?
I think that we're not appreciating the official when they get to the camera. I think that, when we spend the 4 minutes, 5 minutes reviewing a random out of bounds play, when they get to the microphone, we should all be waiting on our toes to hear what they have to say. We all should be applauding all their great, excellent work out there. So that's what we should be enjoying.
The action figure over your left shoulder, who is that over your left
That's
shoulder?
Shaq. That's LSU Shaq, right?
Oh, that's LSU Shaq. That's Orlando Magic Shaq. We got a Pacers Barbie down here. I don't know if you can really see that. And then Toon Squad, Michael Jordan, Space Jam.
Should be Halliburton.
He airs weekdays on NBC Sports Now and Peacock. He's the host of Numbers on the Board and Small Ball with Kenny Beecham. Kenny, thank you, sir. We appreciate the time.
Thank you all.
I want to get to some sound here because Stephen A. Smith is about to go in on Zion Williamson again on First Take. He's been doing some body shaming of Zion Williamson, and evidently the Pelicans came back at Stephen A. Smith. And the Pelicans, wow, man, what a bad franchise. Just one of those franchises that is nowhere, that is just existing to run around out there with no real purpose.
Zion was the number 1 overall pick. Before we get to Stephen A., this is a great beef. Zion was the number 1 overall pick in 2019, as hyped coming out of Duke as any player has ever been. We are 7 years later, not a single playoff series victory, perpetually in a rebuild. Zion's a massive bust, right?
Yeah, it's not just that he's been hurt a lot and doesn't always play. He's in shape, and he's not, as their allegedly best player, somebody who's making them any good. If you are what you're supposed to be at that draft pick, even if you're out there by yourself with 4 other guys, you've got to be contending for the playoffs.
Yep.
You can't always be losing. But let's play Stephen A. Smith here. Zion Williamson is a very easy target, and now Stephen A. is having beef with him.
You got people that are alcoholics. You got people that are drug addicts and stuff like that. What was Zion's problem? Food addict. The joke was everybody in New Orleans, they cooked. It could be everybody from a restaurant, a chef, to your grandmama, all right? Anybody that cooked knew about Zion Williamson, and he knew them. They were on a first-name basis because that brother ate a lot, okay? You even had rumors, and literally, I'm here thinking it was a joke, and somebody told me to go on the air and point out how he got busted hiding food under his bed. This is the kind of stuff that was happening.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Would Dan be 700 pounds if he lived in New Orleans? Because that is a great restaurant city.
So then the Pelicans heard that and put out on social media, hey, Stephen A., stick to solitaire, with a montage, a video montage of his athletic achievements, airballing a 3, throwing a terrible first pitch, airballing another 3. I think that was the same one.
I think that is the same one, yes.
His terrible punching from a few years back. Another 3. Slipping on the court. So just trolling Stephen A. in a funny way, actually. Okay. Showing his college stats.
The college stats with the Wilt Chamberlain sign, 1.5 points per game. Can you guys look up the stats for me? Because I'm pretty sure it was a number of games played that would have made 1.5 be impossible, because I for some reason I thought it was one game played. I may have that wrong. They also showed him, as Chris mentioned, slipping on the court, dress shoes on a basketball court. Not a great situation for anybody. But also the training with a trainer and showing on social media that you're training with a trainer and punching very poorly while boxing training.
I mean, Dan, you know about that punching down?
And then Stephen A., of course, sees this trolling, and you know what Stephen A. does. Tune in tomorrow on First Take. He tweets out, pulling all this stuff from a decade or 2 decades, 3 decades ago, no problem. See y'all tomorrow on First Take. Remember one thing. You asked for this.
All caps, a lot of exclamation points, lot of punctuation in general there.
First Take could be lit.
And then the Pelicans responded to this with a Max Kellerman gif. Of
GIF?
Whatever it is, meme. I don't know what this is. It says GIF in the bottom left. So it's just him, Max Kellerman, sipping coffee, waiting for the response. So this is a back end. I'm excited for First Take.
We got 2 minutes, Dan. 2 minutes, First Take starts.
Let me ask you this, and I'm not defending Zion Williamson. I think he's been a big bust relative to expectations. No argument. But is this a weird time to be piling on Zion? By his standards, hasn't he had a fairly healthy season?
He's played.
Health-wise, he's having the best year of his career.
And he's averaging 20-plus points. I mean, if you look at him just this season, you don't go, this is a bad player. This is a bust. I think only in the context of expectations, like 7 years later, we're piling on when he's having a fairly healthy season and sort of being pretty good.
And he's played 35 straight games. He does a sit-down with Malika Andrews. As you guys know, I love to besmirch, and I've done my fair share of fat-shaming Zion and his little lawn chair and his Cheetos in his living room.
He likes to get up in those DMs, too, Dan.
He likes to get up. Oh, yeah, he likes to cash app them, allegedly. Whoa. But right now, when you sit down with Malika Andrews, I think it's disrespectful to the 4-letter name.
I will say, though, like, for the and it's funny what the Pelicans are doing, but, like, you're having a very public beef with Stephen A. Smith. You're 19-44. Like, you're a bullshit franchise. Like, that's
what's disrespectful to the 4 letters. What exactly are you saying is disrespectful there? Because I think that what Greg is doing there is just looking at numbers, and that is not the proper context. When you draft Zion Williamson that high, when you make him the face of your franchise and make him hope for what Zaz is correctly calling a lifetime bullshit franchise, you have to be relevant. It's not even that you have to get to the playoffs every year. You cannot be invisible. Zion Williamson has disappeared as a name and face, and the reason that people are using against him is that he doesn't care enough because he's the rare basketball player who has been heavy, but he's fit this year.
Well, I think the thing that's crazy is you do this interview, you sit down with Malika, and he says, listen, I'm rehabbing in Portland. My foot's broken. The reason it's broken is not because I'm fat. And all I'm hearing is how fat I am and how lazy I am and how gross I am. And so now I'm eating my feelings away, and then that turned me fat. And he sits down, he has this heartfelt thing. And that's when Stephen A. decides to go back onto the Zion fat-shaming train. That's what I think is just kind of crazier than crack.
Well, what's going to happen here in a few minutes is this is going to escalate, and it's going to be the biggest news around the Pelicans that there has been since Chris Paul was traded. That franchise is a nowhere franchise. It has been invisible, and he was supposed to rescue them. It is textbook bust, Greg. Like, it can't be you're scoring 20 points on a team that can't win. It's one of they are wholly irrelevant as a franchise.
Agreed that he's earned the bus rep by not being able to lift that franchise even to mediocrity. All I'm saying is the timing to me is weird when he's on a healthy streak for the first or second time in his whole NBA career. Like, this is a high, you could argue this is a high point for him when you factor in health and along with performance.
I'd go a step further on this, okay? And this is why this happens, and it's why the content machine is undefeated, okay? This is a slow time in sports. And what do you do to goose ratings? You get into a feud with a franchise that's an irrelevant franchise with an easy target. It responds, and it's why Stephen A. Smith is paid the way that he is, because a whole lot of people tune in now to talk Pelicans basketball, when if you're going to talk Pelicans basketball, this is the only thing that can be a furnace of controversy. There's nothing else to talk about there.
Yeah, sort of how you took out Pat Riley in the Heat. I think I see it now, yeah. Good idea. Good job, Dan.
So you asked that man that question. You guys, Kenny Beecham has left here.
Yeah, he defended you, though.
He didn't defend me. He said he disagreed with what was contended as mine, which is that Spoelstra should be on the hot seat. What do you mean? Are you listening to this show? Like, what do you mean he defended me? He did not defend me. They presented an illegitimate question in front of him, and he said, that's crazy, and I respect Dan Le Batard less than I did moments ago because he would say that's... And then he said my opinion. Then he reiterated my opinion. There's not someone better than that you can get.
Actually, it was Greg who asked that, not us.
Yeah, don't you listen to the show?
I'm going to let myself out here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for not listening to the show.
Wow.
Zaz, we got a breakdown of Cavs and Pistons in the A block on First Take. No pals.
I figured, because I love a good media beef, all right? Yeah. And Greg's right. It's weird. Like, we just woke up today, let's beef with Zion. Let's call him a foodaholic, you know? It's weird. Yeah. But I thought Stephen A. was going to give it to the Pels in the A block. A block, for those who don't know how TV works, that's the first segment.
To the point of the nothing franchise, he probably pitched it, and they're like, We can't go A block with Pelicans. Pelicans have never been A block. Since they drafted Zion, they haven't been A block.
Stephen A is literally the executive producer of that show. If he wanted it to be in the A block, see, it's a little bit of a power move, I think, what Stephen A is doing here. Because in the A block right now on First Take is they're breaking down Pistons and Cavaliers from last night. But see, I'm realizing now this is a power move by Stephen A. He could have his retort at the Pels and Zion in the A block, but him not putting it there is showing you they're a bullshit franchise. They're not worth.
You're
the
so
A block.
small, it's not even worth it.
Yeah. Well, no, it's worth it, but not in the A block.
Well, the Pelicans aren't worth the A block, but Zion Williamson is, because he's a lightning rod. He's one of the great lightning rods in the NBA right now. Everybody wants to turn him into Greg Oden because he hasn't lived up to expectations. And I, in a way, I feel for the guy. You know, I don't care if he ate himself out of a spectacular career. I feel for the guy, and because he's a lightning rod, this is the perfect beef for Stephen A. Smith.
They do talk about him like he's Oliver Miller, like he's eating himself out of the league. It's 20 points a game. He's a good player.
35 straight games in a row that he's played.
Yeah. For anybody, 35 straight games in a row is good.
Yeah, you got to put that thing in a Z block because I need these ratings to stay up all show.
Waiting for the Zion beef, just keeping us on bated breath.
That's right. See, it's that too. It's a power move where he's not going to talk about it right away because you're not worth the top of my show.
He's going to put it low in the show and then say, I wish I could have put it lower because you're the Pelicans.
You know what's not a power move? Putting video out of yourself boxing. That never works out good for anybody. Tyler Hero did the same thing, and everybody's clowning him the last time that he did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you put out a boxing video, you need to know how to box.
Someone's had to have put out one that was successful.
You got to be – no, yeah,
Who's
for
the
sure.
celebrity that put out a good boxing
Damian
video?
Lillard, I think, does boxing stuff too. Like, there's guys that do it. But the problem is if you don't do it and you put out the first video of you doing it, you look goofy.
We should put Greg doing it.
I got to stop doing that.
That sounds like you in the shower.
Are you winded from doing that? I feel like you're winded.
That's my workout.
Shadow boxing, Dan.
Do you know that yesterday's show ended with the sound of his stomach growling from the amount of coffee that he drinks without breakfast? The show ended yesterday with the noise in his stomach. Yeah, the postgame ended. In reference to the Pelicans, and Stephen A. says to hold on a second, he's now milking time spent listening. Like he's starting with other things because he wants to keep people around for a while before they get to the Pelicans. I am going to test our basketball experts here, proud as they are, all of them. Go ahead and name for me the memories you have all time of the Pelicans franchise. Go ahead. Give me all of the moments in the history of the franchise, because I'm going to say Anthony Davis getting them into the playoffs as an 8 seed is at the top of the list, but I'm trying to remember some others.
Anthony Davis t-shirt, that's all, folks.
Yes, after him and the coach had a little beef, as well as Chris Paul, ankle breaker and dunker back in the Pelicans jersey. Oops, my bad, the Hornets jersey.
That's crazy to say, though. That's a lot of games being played, and among our basketball experts, when I tell you, go ahead and give me the franchise highlights. Give me the things that you remember about all of the games that they have played all time, because that's the first time we started criticizing Anthony Davis. And by the way, Greg, when you're drafted where Zion is, at the very least, you got to do what Anthony Davis did there, which is win a playoff game on your own, because you can get the team into the playoffs by yourself because you're the marquee franchise player. The idea that Zion Williamson is at 18 wins and all we're ever talking about him with food and the expectations, right? Because the thing about Zion as well that makes this complicated is it's so rare in that sport to see someone that you know is a total physical freak, that is more physically gifted than all of those physically gifted people by body type, where you're watching and you're saying, that man can get into the paint and score on anybody in the history of that sport at whatever he is. What is he? Is he 6'5"? What is he? How
Something
tall?
like that, yeah. Yeah, 6'5", probably.
I think 6'6".
Yeah, also, my Pelicans memory is Jimmy Butler didn't score 30 points.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember that.
There are so many nowhere franchises in that sport. I wanted to ask you guys something that surprised me yesterday, and maybe it shouldn't have, because once the FBI comes out and does the very public press conference and does all the stuff that the modern administration is doing, where Terry Rozier is in shackles unnecessarily, or they're throwing the names out there, and I encourage you to check out Pablo Torre Finds Out, because I don't even know the name of another co-conspirator that they revealed, because it wasn't a famous name. The government purposely put the famous names out there. But the thing that I was surprised by, and I don't know if you guys were, because I did not know that this was possible, they're saying, I know it's maximum penalty, and it's probably not going to be that when it gets pled down, that Chauncey Billups is staring at decades in prison, plural, decades in prison. I did not know that. Like, I knew that it was bad to fix. I'm sure that Chauncey didn't know that. I'm sure that Chauncey had no idea when he was involved in that game. It sort of reminded me on what it is that happened to Michael Vick, where Michael Vick is dogfighting and has no earthly idea what the consequences are that. Otherwise, he would have stopped dogfighting. Like, it wouldn't have been that important to him. There's just simply no way that he knew that. There is no way that Chauncey Billups knew that the consequences of that were possible decades in prison, because I sure as hell didn't know it.
It said that the maximum he could get was 40 years, 2 20-year sentences.
I mean, maybe he did know that, because he was playing with the mafia, and I think that maybe they made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Damn, when you're talking about a RICO charge, like that's what they give mob bosses, right? Like what they've been able to do to put this all together, like linking the mafia, linking these card games, linking you cheating in them, taking a rake, whatever it is. They build a case on you, and it's like, yeah, we're going to give you this. It's crazy.
But you guys, none of you were surprised by this? All of you felt like that was...
What did you think he was going to get?
Well, he's not going to get that, because it's going to get pled down. Like, there's no way, there is no circumstance under which Chauncey Billups is actually going to spend decades in prison, even if they're trying to game the entirety of the system just for publicity. That's not what's going to happen here. I just didn't think that was possible, and I don't believe what Juju is saying. I don't believe that there's no way Chauncey would need the grift that much that he would bring upon the consequences that end with a lack of freedom for multiple decades over card games.
But when we're talking about the mafia, it's not the grift that gets you in. It's the hooks that get you in. It's something that they're able to get leverage on you, where you say yes one time, and now that's the new leverage, and now there's a second game, and now that's the new leverage. I don't think he was ever there for the money, allegedly.
It's about the action, right? It's about knowing you're the guy that everybody wants to come see. Everybody wants to come play with Chauncey. I'm good at these cards, but I'm also cheating, but nobody really needs to know that. One thing really quick, Dan, to convict under a RICO charge is what they've been brought under. You need to have a couple of things. An enterprise existed, the defendant was associated with it, and they committed at least 2 acts of racketeering within the last 10 years. So it's like all those things are kind of there to have such a big number as far as the years are concerned, because, when you look at 40 years, Chauncey's what? 40-something?
49.
49, okay. You're talking about the rest of his life.
Right, but to answer your question, I didn't expect this. I expected my boy to maybe get a couple months and a big fine or something like that. This is a big surprise to me.
Yeah, but I agree with Dan, and I think what you said is true as well. I always assume that a celebrity defendant is going to get a sweet deal of some sort. I always assume there's going to be a plea bargain. Something's going to happen where, I would almost, I don't know what the over-under is. You can bet on anything, but I would almost bet that Chauncey Billups ends up doing maybe 3 years or less of actual time.
Even that's kind of shocking.
I'd be stunned.
Less than a year, I would bet.
I don't
Money
know.
talks.
All right, look, I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm obviously ignorant. I'm already on the front end showing you how ignorant I am, because all of this has been a bit of a surprise to me. But Chauncey Billups getting significant jail time over this, I look forward to what a trial we're never going to get, because he's going to plea out of this. I'd just be stunned if there were multiple years of prison for this. The details would have to be pretty damning for him for someone in his position to agree, because He hasn't even been. Was he fired or what? Is he?
No,
on,
he's on unpaid leave.
Right, because he's got to be guilty in order to be fired. So he's on leave without pay. I'd be really surprised if Chauncey Billups is doing multiple years of hard time.
I think he's gonna have to snitch. He's gonna have to give
single
somebody
canary.
up. And the question that I have, because you're talking about what is it, La Cosa Nostra? La Cosa
You
Nostra?
said it, not me.
Sorry,
La Cosa.
There we go. I don't know my mafias. But at that point, you might have to go into witness protection.
Chauncey Billups? That's
Yes.
going to be a little bit hard.
Hard to go on WITSEC when you're like, hey, is that Chauncey Billups? No, I'm Bill Murphy. Wait a second.
Wait a minute. What are you doing in Des Moines?
Let me see that jumper.
You're not Bill. You look suspiciously
Big shot?
like Big Shot. I love La Cosa Nostra as a saying because this thing of ours when you're speaking on wires, when you're speaking on federal wires and you're referring to it as this thing of ours, it's got such a nice cryptic mystery to it.
That's why we all love it, La Cosa Nostra.
It's like something you spent a lot of time on to put together, you know? This thing of ours.
This thing of ours. Can you get me the history of the hat tip, please, Tony? I've wanted this for a little bit now.
Dan, I'd love to. All right, so the hat tip, the gesture, the greeting, respect, dates back to medieval Europe around the 14th or 15th century, where a knight in armor would actually tip the little, flap or whatever. They would open it as a sign of respect, be like, hey, I see what you did there on the battlefield. You're my guy.
Not one person has done that to me on Twitter. I reported that to a news weeks ago.
For Westeros.
Nobody gave you the hat tip, huh?
Nope, still waiting.
I wanted to get into something here with you that flew under the radar yesterday. Did you guys see or care about the story that is being reported out of Chicago that veteran center Drew Dalman has retired? And the reason I bring it up is they call him veteran center. He's 27. He's 27 on an offense that's up and coming. That offensive line was good. He just signed his first big contract because he was a fourth-round pick. So he just signed for 3 years, $42 million, which he's not going to get most of, but he got the signing bonus and then got out. 27 years old is about as early as I've seen that done in that sport, and it makes me want to hear from him. I want to. Do you love football? Does your body hurt that much? 27 years old is a lot younger than most. There have been early retirements in that sport. It usually doesn't happen at 27. You're still in your physical prime, ostensibly. And I was surprised by that because he's the centerpiece on an offense for the future. In terms of surprise retirements, I know it's a center. I know we don't care about the offensive lineman. I know it's not Robert Smith or Ricky Williams, a skill position guy. And I know that many players are now retiring earlier than most. But you've got to think that that has something to do with him fearing the physical cost of this, right? It's either that or you don't actually love football that much and just wanted to get to some sort of financial security that you can't get to as a fourth-round pick. So he was their big free agent acquisition at the start of 2025, and now he's out.
So looking at his contract really quick, just to paint the picture. So he got a $6 million signing bonus. Guaranteed at signing, he got $26.5 million. So he played last year. Obviously, this year he's not going to be playing going into 26, but he guaranteed himself $26.5 million, and it's basically like, hey, I'm done.
I think
may have always been his plan.
Oh, it may have been his plan, but you don't see that as the plan very often. Mm-hmm. And I think once you do that, I'd be curious what the rules are on a guaranteed contract like that if you have to give any of that back. Because I think if you sign a 3-year deal and the signing bonus is linked to the 3-year deal, even though the team can cut you and those contracts are one-sided, I'd be surprised if that guarantee was for all $26 million.
So the player we're talking about is 27. 2 or 3 years ago, when was it that Tua had that his worst concussion? He's on the field in Cincinnati. His fingers are misshapen because of a brain injury. We all feared for his life at that point. This guy, what is he thinking when he watches that? And what kind of an impact does that
I didn't
have?
see any quotes from him, but the place that I went immediately when they're calling him a veteran at 27, that's a veteran. He's been playing in the league 4 years. How is that a veteran? It's as early as I've seen this done, and I assume it's the perils of football.
He's a veteran at the bank, Dano.
journalism as we know it, as you know it, what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, okay? It has changed. It has. It's changed, okay? You're not wrong. Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You have to adapt sometimes, okay? Because the game has changed. Your priorities have shifted. No one cares how someone goes and gets the news that they get as long as the news is accurate, as long as it's coming from a credible place. If it's Woj, if it's Adam Schefter, if it's you, if it's Diana Rossini, if it's Shams, nobody cares. You might care. Greg Cody might care. Stephen A. Smith might care. But you know what? You all sold out. Every single one of you, okay? Stephen A. Smith jumped inside the circus tent. I don't blame him. Why'd he do it? Because he had to do it. Because the game has changed. You jumped inside the circus tent. You did. You did so with me. Think about that. With me and with Greg Cody every Tuesday, okay? And so you have ditched journalism a long, long time ago because why? Survival of the fittest, Dan. You have to change with the times. You have to roll with the changing environment, roll with the changing industry, and that's what you decided to do. That's what Stephen A. decided to do. And for Woj, for guys like him, the game has changed slightly, where he went out and he sought reports, and he wanted to be the reporter. And you know what? If now he has morphed into a mouthpiece for the Blazers, I'm okay with it. I am good with it. I don't
Survival
care.
of the fattest.
Everyone, exactly. Everyone is selling out to make a buck.
What a terrible timing.
It
by
was
you.
great.
Like that joke.
Hey, just give it up. You all want to be journalists. You're not journalists anymore. None of you. Not a one of you. Sorry.
You didn't even hear the joke. You
Oh,
said
I did. Survival of the fattest. It was great.
It just could have been done after Stugotz stopped talking, Dan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoehorn that
But I'm
in.
okay. I'm okay
You're
with
splitting
it.
hairs.
Right.
Okay.
You adapt. You roll with things, man. That's it. You know, Dan, you started off, you know, if you're a driver, you drove a yellow cab and you were loyal to the yellow cab. You know what? But the game has changed to Uber, to Lyft, to private driving. And you know what? You have to ditch the yellow cab and you have to drive an Uber. Why? Because you'll make more money. Why? Because more people are taking Uber than the dirty yellow cabs. That's why. That's what you do. No one cares.
Hi, everyone. In the words of Rafiki from one of my favorite movies, The Lion King, it is time. After 46 years of an extraordinary journey, it's with deep gratitude and heartfelt reflection that I announce my retirement from Zoo Miami, effective May 10th of this year. What began for me at the old Crandon Park Zoo on Key Biscayne evolved into Miami Metro Zoo, and ultimately into the world-class institution we know today as Zoo Miami. To have witnessed and even played a small part in that evolution has been one of the greatest honors of my life. Zoos cannot spend millions of dollars on new exhibits without committing a substantial portion of those budgets to in situ conservation of the very animals they choose to showcase. If zoos become the last place where those species can safely survive, then zoos have failed in what should be their top priority, to protect wild animals in the wild where they truly belong. It is that belief that led me to create what I am most proud of in my career, the establishment of the Ron McGill Conservation Endowment at the Zoo Miami Foundation. When people ask me what I want my legacy to be, I want it to be this endowment. It's been established in such a way that long after all of us are gone, it'll continue to fund conservation initiatives and scholarships that will help ensure the survival of some of our world's wonderful wildlife for generations to come. I want to thank the Zoo Miami Foundation for giving me the opportunity to remain connected to Zoo Miami and continue sharing the stories that matter. I am deeply honored to serve as the Foundation's Goodwill Ambassador and Conservation Liaison, a role that will allow me to focus on conservation while remaining closely involved with both our local and global communities. In this position, I will continue to be available to speak to individuals and groups throughout the community in educational, civic, and social organizations in the hope of inspiring a love of wildlife and a commitment to protecting it for generations to come. Through the Zoo Miami Foundation, I will also manage the newly established Into the Wild travel program, drawing on my many years of visiting all 7 continents to create and lead inspiring adventures in nature travel for zoo supporters and donors. Most importantly, I will be able to continue building the Ron McGill Conservation Endowment, ensuring ongoing support for in situ conservation programs around the world, and providing scholarships for those dedicated to careers in wildlife conservation. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the incredible support I've received for so many years. I'm looking forward to see what lies ahead. We'll see you around.
Ron McGill will be on with us here shortly. He's not going anywhere as it relates to this show. We love him, and he will be around here for as long as we're around here, and he's around here. So no worries on that front. But Ron will talk to us about retiring in a little bit here. I wanted to do something here that I was remiss in not doing yesterday because we make a lot of fun of Pablo Torre in general. I think that the audience who appreciates what this show is and what that show is and just the universe around this show has some sort of understanding of how difficult it is to be as excellent as Pablo Torre finds out has been. But the number of awards that this podcast continues to get because its excellence is that distinct is truly staggering. Like, it has been a monumental sports achievement to watch Pablo Torre win. And I'm just going to list some of the awards, okay? It's not a few of them. It's a lot of them. I don't know what the Ambies are. Chris informed me that they're the Oscars of podcasting. But he wasn't just named the best sports podcast because he was also named the podcaster of the year. Those are two different awards. So it was, what do you make him?
He named himself that podcast of the year?
No, it's not. He's not naming himself that. This is a group of people. What do you mean he named himself that?
I'm pretty sure he named himself podcast of the year. I saw him do that.
No, he did not. He didn't name himself. This is the Oscars of podcasting. I've never heard of
Who said that?
Ambies. I don't know what the Ambies are.
The Poi. P-O-Y.
Podcaster of the year.
Thank you. You didn't get that? Everybody knows the Poi. Congrats to Pablo.
Chris,
Pablo the Poi.
Do me the favor of showing you why Greg Cody isn't the podcaster of the year by just playing the sound of his stomach at the end of yesterday's show.
What was that sound?
That was your. We're not making that up.
I deny it.
Yesterday in the postgame show, it was Dan being like, all right, thank you guys. And then that noise came.
That noise did not emanate
yes,
from
it
my
did.
mouth.
Is that the dog that's around here?
That's not an
It
edit.
did sound like a dog growling.
That's not Ollie. No. That is so much more of a ferocious growl than the one Ollie has.
That's not me.
It is you. You're denying something that's absolutely you. That is not distorted by us. That is why you're not the podcaster of the year, even though it's the best sound to come out of your body of any kind. Let's examine for a second what
That's after 4 hours of coffee.
Yeah, let's not examine that.
No, I want to examine not only that, but just in general, I'd like to examine how it is that the body makes that sound and how it is that in your imagination, if I hadn't told you what this sound was, what would you guys have guessed this sound was?
Mordor.
Well,
it's a small angry animal.
Yeah, it sounds like a dog
does sound
growling.
like, that's why it's
Maybe a
not me.
mongoose.
If it were me, it wouldn't be the coffee. It would be the lack of breakfast. Why? Because I come in yesterday, there's no bacon. It's a bacon job that I come in here and I can't get my bacon.
Greg, you know what that was? Another Greg Cody first down.
No, it's a bacon job that he couldn't have bacon. You guys, we're going to play that sound for Ron McGill and ask him what animal makes this sound. We're going to say it is an animal. And we're going to say, what is this? Identify this sound. So it's not just that Pablo, okay, is getting best sports podcast. It's not just that he's getting podcaster of the year. He's also won the Gold Signal Award for best sports show, the Silver Signal Award for best video podcast. He's won the gold medal for best documentary podcast from the Sports Podcast Awards. And last year, he won the Edward R. Murrow Award for sports reporting, as well as a Peabody nomination. You guys are all bored by this as I say it. I know Juju's not. I know Juju likes to celebrate.
Yes.
Juju's a good teammate. The rest of you are bad teammates.
What do you mean?
What do I mean?
What do you mean?
I salute Pablo Torre.
Me too.
Him winning is us winning. So salute, my brother. And Matthew Sullivan, I salute you and everybody else a part of the PFTO podcast.
Agreed.
Well put.
I totally agree. He's the best Tory since Joe. And when you said Edward R. Murrow, I perked up. That's an award right there.
Hey, yo.
The Ed.
You perked up?
I did perk up.
What's that look like?
The Ed is what he just called the Edward R. Murrow Award.
That's what we call it in the industry.
The Ed.
Yes.
The Ed. Let me see here. Tony, I don't mean to pick on you here because I don't think Zaz knows either. Do you guys know who Edward R. Murrow is?
Of course. Legendary broadcaster.
Yeah. Newsman, right?
Yeah.
Journeyman newsman.
He was Cronkite before Cronkite.
Exactly right. Thank you, Greg. Took the words right out of my mouth.
You're welcome.
Play that sound again.
Not me.
Greg, we're not making this up, okay? This is not a distortion.
It wouldn't be the first time you made up something to embarrass me.
But we're not doing that. I'm promising you that's not something that we're doing.
I'm going to get you the full context. I'll get you how yesterday's show ended.
Okay, clearly that's AI. That's artificial intelligence. You ask AI, make a rendition.
More GI.
First of all, you don't hold a phone like that when you talk to AI.
Greg Cody, whatever, growling.
You're so busy making your own jokes that you didn't hear him say more GI than AI because it's a gastrointestinal issue.
Okay.
It is. Like you cannot have 2 thermoses of coffee on an empty stomach. You haven't eaten anything in 18 hours. Your stomach is going to give you the dancing swords. Like, for sure, you have no chance. I'm surprised that you don't notice that your body is making these sounds.
Bacon Gate.
You know about that IBS?
No.
Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood.
We're going to trick Ron McGill with it, correct?
For sure. He's going to say that that's some sort of like small rodent, maybe a varmint of some sort.
Rodent.
We have talked before here about how, in general, the sports fan is a bit numb to cheating. I really don't know at this point what the cheating scandal for performance enhancers is that I would have to put in front of you for it to start a lot of clucking outrage. But Jurickson Profar being suspended for an entire baseball season at the age of 33, it costs the Braves, obviously. He's 33 years old, and I understand at that age why you would go through the pharmacy to try and do something like this. But 162 games suspension is baseball reacting to something it didn't react to a long time ago with punitive measures that are really punitive. Like, I don't know how long the average baseball career is, but there is very little precedent. There's some, but there's very little precedent for a guy getting an entire year. 162 games at the age of 33, I'm going to say comes pretty close to ending your career because I don't think you could just not play a year of baseball at the big league level and just return intact, and you're going to return stained. What do I have to do in baseball? I have to make it a star, right? I have to make it Aaron Judge or Ohtani for anybody to actually care about this. I can't make it Jurickson Profar.
Yeah, but I don't think it's just a baseball thing. I mean, if random NBA player got popped for, drug testing for the full season, I think we'd kind of shrug our shoulders there too. I don't think it's just isolated to baseball.
But a full year suspension. Look, baseball has in some instances become it's supposed to be the national pastime, but it's become something of a regional sport. And I know they care about this in Atlanta. They do care about this in the city that it happens. But what I'm marveling at is the idea that a year suspension on a starter could be met by an audience that is so numb to cheating with a shrug, because 162 games is crazy. That is somebody, and he's a repeat offender, right?
Right.
So so that's the reason that's happening. But even sports media members, like Cody's over here yawning. Despite all the coffee that he drinks, he's yawning at this as subject matter.
The reason, and I wasn't yawning, but the reason that it's of mild interest to me is that when we think of PEDs, particularly in baseball, you start with the biggest names possible, Clemens, Bonds, A-Rod. And so when you get somebody who's not a household name, it barely resonates with me.
You remember the first name that got popped when they started instituting these rules? And you would expect it to be like this big.
Was it Guillermo Mota?
Gordon?
No, I think it was Alex Sanchez. Like it was a guy who doesn't look like he has any type of muscles, and he's getting popped for the entire season back.
Yeah, this is the equivalent of Jared Vanderbilt has been suspended for an entire NBA season. About it.
I mean, shoot, from a local perspective, we weren't that outraged with Aaron Ekblad last season. He got popped for 20 games.
As he started playing well, I was happy.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing that happens here to me that's interesting and not right morally is it's not the crime, it's the criminal. You guys don't actually care about the crime. It's give me
That's right.
Give me a famous name and so it and doing the exact same thing.
That's a good example by Tony. That's the only reason I'm interested in the headline Chauncey Billups facing decades in prison is because it's Chauncey Billups.
Too far away from the
A
mic.
little closer, buddy.
Sorry. How about this?
Let's
Close
play the
enough?
context for Greg Cody. This is why he does not win Podcaster of the Year or any awards whatsoever. Here's the context for Greg Cody punctuating the show yesterday.
And those are your pose.
Thank you.
It's great timing, though. Like, how'd the stomach know the timing of when to jump
It was doing
in?
that all show, and it's been doing it for months because, again, I don't know how many of you drink coffee. You can't drink thermoses full of coffee on an empty stomach, on stomach that's been empty for 18 hours. Look, this is what's in his stomach. I'm going to tell you how his evening goes.
No bacon. That's what's in my stomach.
I'm going to tell you how his evening goes. He has dinner.
Take on 2026. The scandal waiting to happen.
At 6 p.m.,
waiting to happen,
he stops eating food so it doesn't get in the way of the beer buzz.
Oh, this guy.
Is that true?
He's blaspheming me. It's sacrilege.
I know you.
The lies you say about me.
I know you.
You just said I never win awards. I've won several writing awards just in the past year or two.
You don't win broadcasting
No,
awards.
I've never won
That's the
an
most
award because
interesting
I
sounds
never
that
won
come
an
out of
Ed.
your-
too far from the mic. That's my problem.
No, I want to know if there is a strict rule in the Cody household that, a lot of people, they won't eat after 8 p.m. Yeah, you watch your weights.
What time did you have dinner on Monday?
It was later than usual because I was waiting for my wife to get home and she was late, so it was like 7:30, 7:45.
Okay, and so you have gone, by the time your stomach is making that sound, you've gone a full 16 hours without any food in your stomach. It's all been liquid. There's been beer, yes or no?
It depends on the day.
Sometimes I'll ask him what he had for lunch, and he'll be like, I had a couple chips.
Did the day end in a Y?
Yes, it did, as a matter of fact, coincidentally. You have banquet of food here. You serve breakfast, not bacon. You serve breakfast and lunch here. So that's why I'm gaining weight, is working 2 days a week on this show. It's a banquet before I leave. And that's not my noise. It's AI. I tell you, artificial intelligence is taking over the world, man. It's hurting people. Just like it's doing that to me now. Everybody thinks I made that sound.
You did make that sound. We're not making this up.
You're not. Yeah, you and Christopher would never get together to embarrass me.
I'm promising the audience, as someone who does not lie to the audience, I'm promising the audience that is not distorted sound in any way, and that's why you never win the Ed.
I have never won the Ed. You're right, and I would love to.
I can't believe you guys aren't more impressed by Pablo. There are a lot of people making podcasts. There are a lot of people doing sports podcasts.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a microphone. Everyone's got a show. Pablo's the one winning all the awards.
I mean, unlike some people, I don't aggressively nominate myself for every award out there. And I'm not saying Pablo does.
That sounds
Don't
like
get that
Thank
wrong.
God someone said it.
He does. He does aggressively. He does.
Everyone that exists.
He does aggressively nominate himself for
And
awards.
pays for it.
He tried to pay me to get nominated for a Suey.
Trista, he doesn't pay for it.
You do.
We do.
Whoa.
We do. Meadowlark Media pays for the nominations, but still,
That's a scandal right there.
What? How is
That's
it?
a
Bacon.
scandal.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Oscar winners also have to nominate and pay. Like, this is all awards do this.
I don't know about that. Not the Ed. The Ed is above reproach. The Ed comes to you. You don't go to the Ed.
Put that on the poll.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Does the Ed come to you? You don't come to the Ed.
Just like to remind y'all, that's going to read ED.
Oh, that's true. That does come to you.
And it does.
Right, Greg?
Fair comment.
Has Stephen A. Smith had anything to say yet about the Pelicans?
monitoring.
Oh, look,
there
coming
it
up.
is.
It's coming up next.
Coming up, Stephen A. responds to
Oh, boy.
Pelicans' social media video. Man, they milked the first 40 minutes of that show.
Gets that D block.
Talking about everything else instead of his feud with the Pelicans and Zion.
Unfortunately, to report here, you have to pay a fee to submit for the Edward R. Murrow Award.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Now that's
Tough times for the
Yeah,
Murrow
man.
Foundation
That is
and the
rough.
estate of Edward R.
That is sad.
I want to get to some football things with you guys. I've got top five. Tony's got top five low-key free agents, and Juju's got top five NFL players that he doesn't trust based on 24 hours later. And it's why he doesn't win the Ed, based on yesterday's conversation about players in sports you trust least, like James Harden. But before we do that, I did want to get to something I know we've gotten kind of used to, I guess, over the last, 2 months, maybe 3 months. Tua and Kyler Murray aren't going to be with the same teams. And I know if you've been listening to Tony, Tony's been down on Kyler Murray for a while. I think Kyler Murray still has value, and I'm really kind of surprised that Kyler Murray's just going to be waived. Nobody wants to pick up that contract, but I would think that if you're, say, the Minnesota Vikings, and you have Justin Jefferson, who has to be wildly frustrated at what happened with J.J. McCarthy, I would think that the Minnesota Vikings, as one example, how old is Kyler Murray? Can you look that up for me, please?
Can't be 30.
No.
The thing that you can now do in that sport.
28.
We were talking yesterday about the fact that pass rushers have enormous value, but the greatest value that you can have is a quarterback that is good at value, so you can build the rest of your team. And what the Arizona Cardinals taught me by drafting Kyler Murray is, we can move with these new rules off of this salary cap stuff. Josh Rosen, get out of here. We're done with you. We don't have to do this for several years where we're trying to figure this out. Get out of here. And the Vikings can now do that with J.J. McCarthy as well if something is available that's better. They moved off of Sam Darnold as a quarterback. That was a mistake. The Sam Darnold thing was not an illusion in Minnesota. He reinvented himself in Minnesota, and Seattle saw something that I'm going to dare say the rest of the world didn't. But Seattle saw something, and I would say that whatever Seattle saw, I would hold Kyler Murray in higher regard right now than I held Sam Darnold in when he was available to Seattle. That's me. Maybe the rest of you are ahead of me on believing in Sam Darnold more than that. Tony, I know you're out on Kyler Murray, but at this minute right now, I hold Kyler Murray in higher regard as a quarterback than I did when Sam Darnold became available with the Vikings. And if I give him, I know what you loved. You loved Brissett with McBride because he opened up McBride. I like the Cardinal skill position guys. I don't like him the way I like Justin Jefferson. I thought that Sam Darnold was a contrivance in Minnesota because I thought their skill guys were that good. I believe if I put Kyler Murray in Minnesota, I reinvent him.
You don't only talk about Addison, but of Jefferson, you talk about Addison, you're talking about Jalen Naylor. Like, there's a lot of good weapons that they have there. Hawkinson too, Aaron Jones. Like, the list goes on and on. KOC is the reason why Sam Darnold was good, and I get it. There's a contrivance of you have an extremely great play caller in Kevin O'Connell. Sam Darnold's going to look good. You can kind of throw in anybody there. But what Sam Darnold did was he throws the ball in a way that Kyler Murray just simply cannot. I know Kyler Murray has a live arm, but he can't throw to the boundary. He has a really tough time throwing up the middle because he can't see, right? Sam Darnold's 6'4.5", and Kyler Murray's like, what, 5'10"-ish? Like, there's a completely different skill set that Sam Darnold doesn't have that Kyler Murray does. I will grant you that, but I don't think it's the inverse is true.
What about the team with the aging superstar, the Pittsburgh Steelers? A team like that, would you see Kyler fitting in there?
Sure. I think it's scheme reliant, right? Like, whatever it was that Arizona was running, like, they had a lot of pieces that were great that didn't fit Kyler Murray, right?
Kyler Murray will have a much bigger market than Tua will, right?
Well, all it takes is 3 or 4 teams to need a quarterback, and we're all assuming starting quarterback here. I'm not. I think in a certain situation and the right price, you sign Kyler Murray or Tua as experienced backups at this point.
They're not in
their
the
career.
same class, though. I would have a hope with Kyler Murray that I would not have with Tua.
I think Kyler Murray will be a starter somewhere next year.
There's way too much need at quarterback for Kyler Murray to be on a bench somewhere.
I don't think Kyler Murray's any good either.
He's
by
not.
the
He
way.
sucks.
But I think he will be a starter somewhere next year.
Well, Minnesota, Atlanta, the Jets. I mean, there are enough teams to have a little bit of a bidding war. And I agree with you. Kyler Murray's got more market value than Tua. There's no question about that. But I do think Tua's career is not done. He's going to wind up somewhere.
Kyler Murray or Mac Jones?
Mac had some good showings in San Francisco.
Yeah, but
Dano.
it's Kyle Shanahan. Everyone does. Baker Mayfield. Everyone does.
Sam Darnold did.
Let's get back to the conversation of players coach. Is Kyle Shanahan a players coach? Like, does he give off to you a whole lot of?
I wrote soft, but then
Where'd
I
he
scratched it out, and then I put Halfley.
So the successful coaches in that sport, I know there are multiple ways to win. I know that there are multiple things you want from a coach. But if you said to me, and I think I'm different from the audience this way and the power of the illusion of leadership, I believe that the grand majority of football fans would prefer a coach who's in charge as a value than what I'd prefer, which is give me O'Connell and somebody who can make a quarterback. Like, just give me the skill set of that guy can make a quarterback. Give me what Ben Johnson can do as a play caller. I don't care if he's got control of his locker room. I don't care if he's a player's coach. I don't care about culture. I don't care whether guys are on time. Can he make Caleb Williams into somebody who doesn't become Kyler Murray? Because you guys are sitting here saying Kyler Murray sucks. And I do think Kyler Murray, what he has done is he sort of gets stuck in the particular position of never before this time has there been a quarterback of that size that's allowed to play the position, because you have to be able to see over your offensive linemen. A quarterback, usually, Kyler Murray would have never, before he got drafted, where he got drafted, that would have never happened if Baker Mayfield and Russell Wilson hadn't, at that size, showed you that it doesn't have to just be in the pocket. You can roll out. You can make some of the throws. You say he stinks, and I like the Cardinal skill position players. I do like them. Like, I thought that Harrison was going to be a number one.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't been there for anybody.
He was supposed to be a lock for number one wide receiver.
I blame Mike for that, because Mike made this bet his rookie year that he's my lock of the season to go over on yards.
Everyone
and then
was
that
saying that.
right there is where it all ended for him.
I mean, Trey McBride is easily one of the best, if not the best, tight end in the world right now. And, like, what he was not able to do with Trey McBride, like throw him touchdowns, use him in the red zone. Like, it can't just be scheme related where we're not going to scheme our best guy open. It's like Kyler's got to find the guys, and he just never did.
I got a question for the room. Bomani Jones, do we think he's a
What'd
smart
he
guy?
say?
Yes. Well, Bomani says that he would take Kyler Murray over Jalen Hurts, Bo Nix, and Bryce Young.
I wouldn't take him over any of those guys, actually.
I wouldn't take him over any of those.
Wow.
guys.
Well, but wait a minute, though, because Bo Nix, you're saying that the coach can make that quarterback, right? Like, we're all in agreement that Bo Nix is a product of whatever it is Sean Payton's doing. None of us expected that from Bo Nix. Bryce Young, he was good last year. I don't know if Kyler Murray couldn't have done the same sort of things in Carolina that Bryce Young was doing. Yeah, because Bryce Young benefits from the pioneering of Kyler Murray. He's also too small. Like, he's a quarterback who wouldn't have been drafted, wouldn't have been not that high 5 years ago. 6 years ago, Bryce Young does not get drafted that high because you tell me when all this changed. It was with Russell Wilson, correct? Russell Wilson is the guy that size who's allowed to play the position. Before that, we would have never drafted Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young, Kyler Murray that high, because quarterbacks have to be the size of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Right. No, you're right. And it applies. Yesterday we were talking about Reuben Bain's arm length being an inch too short. And it certainly applies when you have a short quarterback. But I agree with you. I think I would rather argue that Arizona gave up on Kyler Murray too soon than I would argue he's no good.
Well, the thing, though, that I've been talking about the Dolphins and the hopelessness of their position. Arizona, who you got that's better than that. Like, I understand that Brissett's not an answer. I know Brissett threw a ton of yards. Brissett had a great statistical season last year, and the Cardinals were the Cardinals. Like, they were terrible. They lost a ton of one-score games, but I think they lost them at least in part because Brissett was their quarterback.
Well, also in terms of Kyler Murray and them giving up on him right now, like, the reputation ain't so great, and certainly behind the scenes, they know even more than the things that have been leaked out and we know about Kyler Murray.
Guys, they gave up on him too soon. How many years was Tannehill? Yes, no. How many years?
7.
Do we know?
7.
Yeah.
Okay, 7 exactly for Kyler Murray. How's it too soon? We know what he is. He's a guy that's going to give you incredible plays once in a while, but he's going to put you in a lot of really bad situations, make a lot of stupid throws.
So Juju brought up, though, Jalen Hurts, and that's an interesting one, right?
That's my guy, though.
Yeah, but that one, you think if I took Kyler Murray and put him in the Eagles offense, Jalen Hurts is a special quarterback in that offense, but that offense won the Super Bowl because they had the best player at every position on offense. Like across the board, that offensive line, every one of their players, you don't think that Kyler Murray would do big things in that offense? You think he'd be turning the ball over a ton?
I think he'd be turning the ball over, but he'd also do great things. Like, I think that would be a wash for me, Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray.
Quick update. Ron McGill is doing zoo things and will join us tomorrow, not today.
Doing zoo things?
He's retiring.
Well,
What does he
I got
care?
the note. He's busy presenting painted dog pups. And I didn't really know what that meant, so I just said zoo things.
Wow, he's still working hard after announcing that retirement. I'll tell you what, day comes that I announce my retirement, work ethic's going down the tube.
Also, Kyler Murray, maybe check out the Cincinnati Reds. You still got a chooch on you.
Well, I mean, that part, right? We just talked about we talked about Drew Dalman retiring early at the age of 27. The idea that Kyler Murray is still old enough, he got all of the football money and decided to do football over baseball, even though baseball is vastly physically safer. Made a choice that was really interesting, right? Because he would have been a first rounder in both sports, and baseball.
He was drafted, right, in baseball.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
he was
was.
drafted.
Yeah, he would have been. It's harder if you get drafted in football, especially where he got drafted. You're going to immediately play football. You get drafted there in baseball, you might not ever get to the major leagues because somehow that sport is harder than even playing quarterback. The success rate is harder to come by than even being a starting quarterback, which is widely regarded as the toughest thing to do in sports. But he could go back to baseball. It is something that would be a funny choice if he made that. But he's going to get a starting job. And you guys, where is he forecasted to go? Because Minnesota makes more sense to me than Pittsburgh because of all of the things that I stated, including the play caller. Like, McCarthy doesn't quite inspire what it is that I want inspired there that O'Connell does. And I do think there's the risk that they just move off of McCarthy quickly because the way that they're doing the finances in that sport, it's no longer a killer to miss on the first-round pick who's a quarterback. You can get rid of him within a couple of years in a way you couldn't before, which is how we ended up with 7 years of Tannehill.
Why wouldn't Atlanta be a good spot for him?
Michael Penix, like they still see him.
But he's always
there.
hurt. Like, you're going to have to bring someone else, and then you win a job.
I'd say easy spot is the Jets. They have nobody. So it's like,
but that's not a good place for Murray.
That'll swallow you. They just did that to Justin Fields. Like, I think that Justin Fields is a lesser quarterback. It's been proven this year, but I would have argued that that's a lesser quarterback than Kyler Murray before he even went to the Jets. Kyler Murray has to be very selective about what he chooses next. I don't know how much humbling is involved there. I don't know how much he looks in a mirror and says, yeah, I was playing too many video games. I was irresponsible. I need to grow up. But the next spot that he chooses has to be a place with skill positions. Look, Aaron Rodgers didn't want to go to the Steelers. He wanted to go to the Vikings. And the reason he wanted to go to the Vikings is because he learned, look, I've got all these skill guys and I got the play caller, and they told him we don't want you with the Vikings. Do you assume, because I assume, that that's where Kyler Murray will end up? Do you think there should be another favorite? Because if I'm Kyler Murray and I'm advising Kyler Murray, I'm telling him figure out how to get to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to go wherever he can start, and I think the Jets are included. Kyler Murray's been buried in Arizona, which is one of the lowest radar cities and teams in the NFL. If he can go to New York and all of a sudden he's thinking, I can finally be the national star that I deserve to be, I think he does that in a heartbeat.
I think New York is one of the yes, he'll go where he believes he has the best chance of starting, and I think New York would be last on the list of those teams for him. There's nothing there to allow him to be successful. He'll go there if it's the only place that's offering him a starting job, but I don't see him ending up there.
I think don't count out Indianapolis because they have everything they need except their leader. You dig? And
They just
he'll be
signed him
back
to a
soon.
transition tag
they
to Daniel
kept-
Jones, $37.5 million bucks.
Yeah.
But with your biggest ability is when we start the season. So where are you going to be? Watching bonbons with your wife.
He's right about that. You haven't watching bonbons, yeah.
Watching
You watch them,
bonbons?
Dan. Just move on. Nobody heard it.
Eat 'em.
I'm going to head out.
Yeah, I'm going to do that to you. In fact, yeah.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for leaking confidence.
I've seen.
It was right there, too. He had it.
Nobody heard that.
I've seen the speculation that Arizona could end up with Malik Willis because of the LaFleur connection. His brother now working in Arizona.
I don't hate that. Like that's a good move for the Cardinals. That opens up Miami for Kyler Murray. Like, is that something that would be appeasing to
Well,
him?
I would think at this point Miami wants Malik Willis. No, I would assume.
I think it's between Arizona and the Dolphins for Malik Willis, according to rumors.
But rumors, is what we're citing. I would assume that rumors are just starting there based on, the Green Bay guys are in charge now in
and
Miami.
LaFleur's brother is in Arizona.
Makes sense. Makes all
See?
the sense in the world.
There you go.
Can,
Rumors.
can you guys give Juju, please, a microphone in the penalty box so that I can go to him on his top 5 after I do Tony's top 5? Because I do want to go to Juju and his top 5 on. Did he just tear one of his hamstrings like Howard Bryant getting out of bed, tearing both of his hamstrings? I believe he's pulling at his hamstring now. I believe that his confidence leaked out of his body and injured his hamstring. Here are see if you guys like any of these as you need your football fix on Tony's top 5. These are players that are under the radar. Free agents available under the radar?
Yeah. Low-key free agents. You're not going to get the Malik Willises, the Jalen Phillips, the Trey Hendricksons. We're not going to get those. Those are obvious. I want to go more low-key, more hidden names, more guys that you're like, I've heard that name before. I really like
So
him.
if it's low-key, are you like whispering this? Like, what does this mean?
I think you do need
There's
to.
one that's a high-key name, but it's low-key.
Okay, but do we have any whole lot?
No, just straight 5.
All right, so it's just, but it's very low key.
It's very low-key. And when I say this name, you're going to be like, I like him.
That's it. Is this the high key?
No, this is still low-key. High-key is later on in the list. Low-key, number 5, free agent available, Chiggy Okonkwo.
I like him.
Tight end for the Tennessee Titans, can run like a horse.
Okay, you're talking too loud.
Big guy.
It's got to be low key.
Big guy, can catch.
Okay.
I like him with Cam Ward. They didn't use him probably as much as they should have. If he can get to somewhere else that likes to feature the tight end, it's a very, very good piece.
I feel it's unfair everything that happened to Cam Ward. I feel like Cam Ward, it wasn't quite like playing as if I had just dropped him in the Amazon, but he was running for his life similarly all season last year.
Yeah, it was close. Number 4, this is a guy who's going to be an instant Hall of Famer the moment he retires and hangs the cleats up. But he needs to find a new home, and I think he can find a very good home in New England.
A little quicker.
That's Mike Evans.
That's number 3, right?
Is he
That's
done?
number 4.
Is he done in
He's not
Tampa?
done.
Yeah, get the low key
in
numbers.
Tampa, he's done.
He's done for
But
sure.
for the next team, I mean, he could be a big red zone presence for
Yeah,
Drake May.
He's only got 1,000-yard seasons, right? He's never not had
Except
a
this season, he
1,000-yard
got hurt.
season.
He couldn't have 1,000 yards this
Big
season.
name for a low key.
Exactly right. But that's why I throw it off, because you're like, oh, Mike Evans, the free agent.
Number 3.
Number 3, going back to the tight end, Isaiah Likely. Good player. Always been behind Mark Andrews. If he gets to a team, all of a sudden Travis Kelce says, hey, I'm not as good as I used to be.
Immortal Mark Andrews.
Exactly. All of a sudden, Isaiah Likely with Patrick Mahomes, you got that offense humming. He's a good player.
Number 2.
Exactly right, Greg. Number 2, the highest key name in the list just because he won the MVP of the Super Bowl. Kenneth Walker III.
Oh, yeah.
Seattle said, hey, we're not doing this anymore.
That's a high key.
It is. That's why I said high key but low key, because people see MVP of the Super Bowl, and he's not. He's a free agent. Why wouldn't they?
Can't be low key if you're Super Bowl MVP.
But that's what I'm saying. It's low key.
Juju, put it on the poll. Can the Super Bowl MVP be a low key acquisition?
High key, low key.
Yeah.
And number 1, I think the best guy in all free agency, Greg, you might want to agree with this.
Yeah.
If he comes over here to the Miami Dolphins, he could be a really good piece for a future quarterback. That's Alec Pierce.
Okay.
Just boredom and
Greg,
indifference.
what position does that guy play?
You know what? That's 6 names in your top 5. Anybody else counting or just me?
No, I think you got it wrong.
Anybody else counting?
I don't think there were any.
Yeah,
I'll lie.
6 names.
That kind of thing.
You didn't answer the question about
It's not a Greg Cody
Pierce.
first down.
I don't know Alex Pierce.
You don't know he's
Punt.
a wide receiver. He's
Punt.
a wide receiver for the Colts. No, you don't. You're the
Who's
football
Alex
expert.
Pierce?
Biggest game in 20 years.